Joan, who are we?
We are Quilters HQ, Windmill Sewing Center, and Sewing Machines Express. The websites are quiltershq.com, windmillsewingcenter.com, and QHQ, the number 2.com. So we're doing a show on my favorite tools, and I'm going to tell you why they're my favorite tools. We do have them in the store. Some of them we have limited quantity.
I didn't find the sample, sorry.
Okay. And so I picked out a whole bunch of stuff, and Robert picked out one.
Well, you know.
It was his first thing that I gave to him, and he's like, well, what do I need to know about quilting? And I'm like, well, color.
Hi, Barb.
Everybody needs to know about color, but, you know, it's this illusion in quilting that color is what trips everybody up, and all you really need is one of these, a color wheel. And I always joke and say Van Gogh taught me everything I know about color, because it's kind of true. So Van Gogh used a triad in most of his paintings. So think about Starry Night had blue, yellow, and orange. And those are the orange, including like browns. Those are the three colors in that painting, and it's his most famous painting. And it's gorgeous. I never got to see it in person, but, you know, posters. So, Robert's favorite tool is the color wheel. And these sell for $8.99. And so this literally, he's waiting for to get his desk in place, but literally he has this up over his desk. So, and it's a good thing for me too, because then I can just look up. I think I have the color wheel memorized. I don't, not so much. Sometimes it's good to have this. And so when you're playing with color, so I grabbed some of our fat quarters.
The other Joan's in the house.
Hey, Joan.
And Mississippi's in the house now, too. Welcome, Mississippi.
Patsy. So when you're working with color and you have a color wheel, and so say somebody gifted this to you and you're like, oh gosh, what do I do with this? This is like almost neon orange. So there's lots of these shapes on all color wheels. So if you point, it's kind of this color. It's kind of fits in there. So if you point your arrow towards this color, the color wheel will tell you what colors you can use with it. You can always go opposite on the color wheel. That's why we have red and green Christmases. So if I slide my color wheel all the way over here, this has multiple layers. So if I slide my color wheel all the way over here to green, its opposite is red. And that's why those colors look so good together. Blue and yellow, purple and green. Opposites on the color wheel, and they always look good together. So if somebody gifted you some orange, not red orange, actual orange, and you have a color wheel, you'll know that you need to pair it up with some blue. And those will look really good. So what if I want more than a 2-color quilt? So then you have this little triangle here. So if I'm pointing my arrow at orange, I also know I can do blue-green. Let me see if I can find a blue-green in here. So orange, blue-green. Let's pull this one out and put in blue-violet. Blue-violet. Yep, that kind of works. And so then those colors go really good together. But what if you want more colors than that? So you can set, see if I can find another one of those orange ones. Nope. Just the one. So if you wanted to do more colors, you have a wider triangle. So you can pair this orange with this green. It's not quite in there, but I think that one's pretty close. And you can also go with violet. And then these colors work together. And if you wanted to do 4, there's 4. It will tell you can do this kind of, yep, that works. This yellow And if I come over here, I could put pink with it. This is where you start getting into some of the more advanced colors. So if I'm pointing at
Hi, Carol.
can they see this okay? Yeah. So if I'm pointing at orange, any comments, any questions so far? And do you like this content? This, what we're talking about here, how these color wheels work. So these boxes that are drawn on there will tell you what colors to use with your just so unusual color. Because I don't think really people come in the store and buy, I'm looking for orange. I don't think I've ever heard that. But yet we have it. So then what do we do with it? So if you wanted more colors, so you wouldn't normally think, okay, I'm going to put this lime green, pink, and let me find, you can put a violet. Let me see if there's one in here. Not quite. Maybe in the other one. Kind of just this lavender color. More selection. Perfect.
Ask for a bucket of fabric.
And then the other one is the green. So we've got orange,
Hi,
pink,
Carol.
green, another darker green. So let's find one. Nope, that's a little bit too blue. Still a little bit too. How about that one? That one. And so we started off with one color, and then we went to all the way up to 5 colors. And so if you look at all of these colors, you wouldn't normally pick these out, but if you sew these into a block, it will be pleasing because it follows this geometry on the color wheel, and smarter people than me, and painters I guess, a little more creative, have figured out that these are complementary and they just work together. So this is Robert's favorite tool. But if we go back, so all of these will work together. It works with those. It works with those. And it works with this one. Color wheel is your friend. And this is my favorite. This is actually a painter's color wheel. And this was actually out of my sewing room, and I gave it to Robert because I'm like, well, color. You need to learn color if you're going to work in a quilt shop.
We were, I think, I think it started that we were like, oh, we're going to paint the bedroom or something, or we're going to paint something. And then she was like, well, do you like that color? I'm like, oh, I don't know if it really goes with that. So for me, that's a little more helpful. And I think you told me in yellow, look, a little yellow goes a long way.
A little yellow goes a long way.
Probably for most of the base, the main colors, a little bit goes a long way. I don't know if I want a completely purple bedroom.
But yellow and purple look great together.
Right, like with accents and stuff. So if you looked at it, it made it a little easier. Oh, that's pleasing and it goes together and it fits. So, but I haven't memorized that color wheel at all. But it's nice to have.
I'll give you one piece of homework.
I know. Robert failed his homework, doggone it.
It does have some extra stuff on the back of this one. So, like, if you are an artist and you're mixing colors, it will tell you, okay, if you have blue, adding red makes purple. So,
well, I think that's good to know in general.
It is good to know, and, add it, because it has the base colors here along the top. And so, if you add to any of these colors, so it'll kind of tell you what you're going to get. But for us quilters, this is the side that really matters. And these are only $8.99. And I cannot tell you how many people that says, no, I can't quilt because I don't get color. Every color I put together doesn't work. Well, here's a tool that solves that problem. So...
And I think a lot of people will carry them with them. They go to the fabric store, and it's like, it's great to get opinions on how things are going to go together, but it's nice to have that color wheel so you can kind of match up as you're going through the shop. And it's like, oh, I've got this piece of fabric. that I want to match up, and I want to, you know.
And when people come in or customers come in and they're asking me, well, I've got this quilt, and what do I use for a border? I want the border to complement. I want it to offset. Or what should I use? What color should I use for binding? I am always thinking about this color wheel in my head. $8.99. Comment, make it mine. Color wheel. And you can have one too. It's an awesome tool.
And they make smaller ones. They make, you know.
Yep.
So, but a great tool to have. So that's why it's my favorite.
That's why it's your favorite?
Yeah.
It's a good
Answer
tool.
the tough questions.
Answer the tough questions.
Well, does this look good with this? And
is it going to work? I think that's the question, is if I put these two colors together, is it going to work? If you can find it on the color wheel, I mean, opposites always easy. Even the triangles are always easy. It's when you start getting into these and these that it kind of gets a little bit weird with color. But as long as you're staying within these shapes, these geometric shapes of your color wheel, it's always going to work. And so people will tell you, oh my gosh, that's a beautiful quilt, and this is why. So,
now, how does that work with, say, the batiks?
So you find the main color
Of
in
the
a batik.
Okay.
Right? So the main color of this is kind of this lavender. They would call it, like if you found it on the color wheel, I would say the main color of this is this red violet. And so if I were to point my wheel at this color, I'm going to want to mix green in with it. I do. So let's grab a couple. So, not quite. So that's more of a grass green. But if we go opposite and we can pull out, so this color, the main color on this one is kind of this
Kind of matches that, yeah.
yellow. Those are going to work well together if you're going opposite. Now if you want to put more colors in there, so all you got to do is keep your arrow pointed at this purple, and okay, I'm going to go with turquoise. Well, they've kind of done that for you. They put turquoise in it, in the fabric. And if you go just the other opposite, you get kind of this yellowy orange right in here. It's kind of a little bit more green, but it kind of does have that yellowy kind of color. Batiks are good at doing that. So this one, they've gone completely opposite, blue and yellow. This one is more of a complementary color, split complementary. And so this one you actually are upside down. So if you point your wheel at this purple, because this is kind of a red violet, or you could almost say it's a blue violet too. And look at the split complementary colors, it follows this whole color range right here. And hold it up, and hold it up over the color wheel, you can see that all of those colors are in this fabric.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're using a batik like this, right, and you want to know, okay,
Hi, Linda.
what can I put with this color? So you can take your color wheel, and it has all of these colors in it, and just spin it. So if you want to highlight the blue violet, you're going to bring in yellow orange. Or you can bring in this blue-green teal or red-violet. Yeah, that works too. And use those colors. And probably navy. So you could put those colors with this just using the color wheel. So find your main color, and you can identify like with this one, it's pretty easy to identify they went opposite on the color wheel. This one they did complementary colors. This one is really monochromatic. And then this one, if we do the same comparison on this one, so if we find our base color is kind of this kind of violet color.
Hey, Peggy.
It's like right here and right there. They probably did a split complementary color on that one too. So if I pointed at that one, am I going to find red, which I don't. So they didn't do a split complementary. So yeah, they kind of did. It's got this pink color in it. And then the other one is this violet purples, which are right here. So these are along this line right here. So if you want to find out what color is going to go with it, you can always go opposite. And then you can start making your triangles, your larger triangles, to find out what's going to go with it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Sandy, I think this is a sentiment for a lot of people, is for me selecting the fabrics for a quilt project is the most difficult challenge. So you need a tool like this to kind of help you.
Yeah.
Hi, Cheryl. How are you?
So, yeah, I mean, you come into quilt shops and you're like, oh, what do I put with this? And they make it look so easy.
Color wheel will help you. Yeah.
Color wheel will help you. And so that's how I do it. Okay.
Well, thanks.
Any more questions about color? I'm Robert's
Showcase
favorite
my
tool. And hope the information was helpful on the color wheel. Robert was adamant that we do the color.
Yeah, I think that was an important one.
Yeah. Color's not, don't be intimidated by color. I mean, worst case scenario, you make a quilt and it's not, you know, with the right colors, it's still going to keep you warm at night.
Yeah.
Anyway, have fun sewing.